Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 15th anniversary, and it's from one of the best metal albums that have come out in the 2000s in the 21st century period. And as you can see below the title, we're going to be talking about the masterpiece known as The Blackening by Machine Head, the band's sixth full-length album released on March 26, 2007 through Roadrunner Records. Now, I don't really need to go much into Machine Head. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about them. Been around since the early 90s, from California. Mostly their debut, The Burn My Eyes, was a great masterpiece. Had very groove-tinged thrash metal, same with a little bit of industrial thrown in, and then they released the equally great More Things Change, but I feel like it sounds too similar. But then they had that new metal shit in the late 90s, early 2000s, which is kind of eh. Yeah, but then in 2003, they released Through the Ashes of Empires, which was a great return to form. And it also has Rob Flynn's then and now former bandmate Phil Demmel, who played with them in Violence. But after that, I thought, how could they have done really well with Through the Ashes of Empire? And the result was The Blackening, their sixth album. And when I first heard the song Aesthetics of Hate, I was like, whoa, what is this? And I feel like this is definitely a metal classic. Like, a lot of people consider this to be kind of like their Master of Puppets or their Black album. This is pretty much really what got Machine Head really well known at the time. One thing to note about the production, like, of course, Rob Flynn produced this album. I think he definitely has a great feel to know how the musicianship and like everything where it needs to go. Then Rob Flynn's voice on here, he definitely has like a great kind of like styles of vocals. He does like the fast kind of like screaming vocals and really gruffiest, and he has like a very melodic, clean singing right there. And then his guitar playing along with Phil Demmel's, like both of Rob and Phil's guitar playing really complement each other well, and they both come up with some great riffs on the fly. The bass on this album is pretty audible. Former bassist Adam Deuce does a really great job on here, and the drumming from Dave McLean, who's now currently killing it with Sacred Reich. His drumming is fucking amazing on here. So, without further ado, let's dive into this masterpiece track by track. Now, starting things off is Clenching the Fists of Dissent. Now, this is one of the longest songs on here, or probably like 10, 11 minutes long. Now, it begins right from the get-go with a very quiet and peaceful acoustic riff repeating over and over. And there's also the addition of snare and Rob's kind of like screaming anti-war stuff in the background. Really kind of like builds up the whole momentum. And then the tension breaks into one of the most great riffs that Machine has ever performed, and I feel like the bass and the drums kick in as Rob screams of war, and it just launches the listener into like a 10-minute epic of thrash metal, just finger-melting lead interludes and a great constant double bass performance. I don't know, this song just fades out, just leaving you wanting more. And then it just goes into the next song, which is called Beautiful Morning, which is no less powerful. And then the Flynn's brutal scream of "fuck you all" opens the song. It has just pounding drums to slow Flynn's terrifying vocal performance, and the guitar work from Phil is truly excellent, and a short solo from him saying the song Flying from there in the cleanly sung finish. Next up is probably, in my opinion, my favorite song from The Blackening, Aesthetics of Hate. Now, this is a true example of how Machine Head has come far in the long years. It begins with a quite chilling guitar riff that ultimately chases the listener through a 7-minute thrash attack, and it pretty much sets the mood and showcases Phil and Rob's guitar work. And I feel like this song, from what I heard, is like a middle finger to the piece of shit that murdered Dimebag. It is like a tribute to him. And the lyrics are like gut-wrenching, and the bass on here is superb throughout, and the drums are relentless and skillful, and the several solos really just, I don't know, just fucking amazing. Next up is Now I Lay Thee Down. Now, it's pretty much a similar emotion, kind of lyrically, kind of similar to Aesthetics of Hate. This kind of like, from what I heard, talks about the story of Romeo and Juliet, but musically it's really varied. It opens up with a soft guitar riff, kind of similar to Aesthetics of Hate, and then the drums here are melodic, which matches the bass perfectly, and then there's a tap interlude from Phil is incredible. And the solos, I feel like, are the real special things about this song, and that the two guitars trade off in sort of a battle. Oh, in here, it's just... and then we go into Slanderous. Now, it starts off with a sick pick slap slide followed by a very technical guitar work, and there's some really great complex drums, which makes it very memorable. And then it's just minutes, just a thrash attack about racism and prejudice. This song just delivers right, has a fun fucking amazing. It just shows like the accent and showing off their skill. Then we get to another one of the longest songs on here, which is Halo, which is about 9 minutes long. And right from the peaceful intro to the ultimate thrashing conclusion, this is the song that I feel like Machine Head were born to write. And the intro builds up a very fast pace. It's with a very sick double bass, opening up with a technically amazing riff, and the guitarists really show off here. And Rob's vocal performance is outstanding here, and his screams break out into a very energetic, clean sung section with Adam sort of like singing as well. And the chorus is sung over an equally amazing riff and the pounding drums and the tom rolls. And after the second chorus, the song just collapses into a chilling intro riff, and the breakdown is brutal, and Rob just screams that just takes the listener by surprise. And the drums are very melodic and precise, but I feel like the breakdown just ends abruptly, and Phil unleashes a most blistering and mind-blowing solo on the album yet. And the drums and the bass kick in to follow the lead work, and throughout the fucking minute-long journey, it's just amazing. Another one of the, I put it up there similar to like Clenching, the Fist of Descent. And then Wolf's kick in pretty much picks up where Halo left off, has a really blood-curdling vocal start, and it follows by an awesome lead break from Phil, and it pretty much sets the whole scene for the rest of the song. And the almost constant double bass drumming from Dave is amazing. It's lengthy but nonetheless amazing instrumental bridge, which leads into another guitar trade-off between Rob and Phil. And this song just comes abruptly to a halt with Flynn's voice kind of like echoing in the distance. And then we get to the final track of the album, A Farewell to Arms. Now, this listener is allowed 2.5 minutes of Sox singing backed by some similar peaceful guitars and cymbal-oriented drum work. But unlike the first song, there's like apprehension is slowly becoming stronger until the song breaks down to a somewhat slower but nonetheless heavy track. And the lyrics are like the target of the Iraq War lyrically, and it suits the song perfectly. And the singing is very powerful, and it fits really well with the pounding bass line and the guitar work. And the song eventually breaks into the brilliant thrash metal finish with a very fast riff and another very impressive solo from Phil, and I think is a really great way to end this album. Now overall, The Blackening by Machine Head is definitely one of the best albums to have come out in the 21st century. That is without a doubt. There's no denying that. So right to give this album a score, I'm going to give The Blackening by Machine Head a solid 10 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of The Blackening by Machine Head, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.